Hello, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. I thought I'd try something a little bit different today. I've been getting a little bit frustrated recently with how slowly I've been building and progressing with this city, so I thought I'd try something different in that I was gonna just play today and just speed it up and do a voiceover over it. So that's what I ended up doing, so it'll be a little bit different today, but yeah, I don't know, I was getting really really frustrated with how slowly I was going with the city. My plan for this episode was to try to expand a little bit rapidly, so you can see me sort of trying to figure out where I want to go to next, and I guess just sort of making ideas, and I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, I was just sort of seeing how everything was going. I wanted to turn this industry area into a different sort of industry, so it would be less pollution-y. That's a real word, right? Instead I ended up moving some of the farming buildings over there, like the ones that do produce pollution, because I was like, hey, why do we have them over there with the recycling plant when we can just have them in the rest of the industry area, since that's what it is, it's industry. It'll probably be a little bit easier for people to get to work there as well, because it's a little bit closer to the residential areas. And yeah, then I realized, I was like, oh, it'd be really good to put in a cargo train, but I didn't have it unlocked just yet. So while there was a demand for industry, I just popped down some offices, which we unlocked last episode, and to keep up with demands for people wanting to work in those offices, I had to increase the education a little. So I popped down some elementary schools, and then yeah, just to sort of pump that up, I realized I didn't have any universities as well, so I thought down here would be a really nice area for a university. So I plotted that out real fast. I was hoping to just do like the standard sort of university, but again, I don't have that unlocked just yet. I think you need a population of about 30,000 or so before you get that. So I just made a little road off to the side there and popped down the university main building for the trade school. So it's currently called the Mulberry Trade School. Mulberry? Mulberry. I was like, what's a Mulberry? So yeah, I'm just building up that area. I'd like to rename it. If you guys have any ideas for names, please let me know, because it'd be fun to sort of customize the city a little bit more. I still really like the Metropolis name. It's very nice. So I'm just popping down a couple of the essential buildings to get the school started, because I think there was something like 1,000 students eligible to go to school, so I had to make sure that there was definitely enough room for all of those students. And being that the closest mode of public transport was that metro station, I thought that was a little bit far away, so I added in the bus depot so I could start putting down some bus lines. I figured that would just help people get to and from the university easier, make it more accessible for students, because really the metro station should have most of the city covered for public transport, because the civs in this game, they can walk a fair distance, like quite far, to get to where they need to go to. So next, what was I doing? I just wanted to make the school look a bit nicer. I think having the time to just sort of take it slowly and build up some beautiful areas was something that I was really looking for. So yeah, just put down a bit of pavement, as you saw as well. Our city upgraded, so that was pretty good. I don't really know what I'm saying. Yeah, I thought this statue could look nice there. I don't know if you guys ever went to schools that had like big statues in places. The university I went to, or the first university I went to, it had a lot of like modern art and stuff around the campus, so I would have liked to put some sculptures in there, but that's sort of the only one that really stuck out to me. And this is just meant to be almost like an outdoor food court sort of situation. I just thought it'd look nice to have like some kiosks, because like clubs and stuff might set up information booths, and yeah, a little bit of a food thing there as well. A fountain, because I feel like schools and fountains go hand in hand. And then in this little grass area, I added some gazebos and some trees to make it look a little bit nice. I feel like trees are sort of the magic ingredient to making a city beautiful in City Skylines. Also, I didn't realize, this is my first time sort of recording a voiceover in Premiere. I didn't realize that it would immediately output audio back into my headphones, so it freaked me out at first. So I just have to turn that down, because I don't know if you guys have ever used those like stuttering apps where it plays back what you're saying at like a slight offset, so you can't you can't talk. It's like a speech jammer, that's the word. So after I'd set up the trade school, I noticed there was a bit of a demand for commercial, so I just upgraded some of the low density commercial to high density around the high density residential areas. And then I decided that we should add in a parking lot. I'm going all over the place. I feel like that's just sort of how I do. I really like using these sort of custom parking lot tools. I think they're really fun. They really add a degree of realism to your city as well, just by having little parking lots in there. Also, I hope I'm not speaking a million miles a minute. I have the tendency to do that, and I'm almost struggling to keep up with my gameplay here. As always, I like to add in the disabled parking lots and the electric charging parking lots as well. And there was immediately a crime issue at the school, so I deleted the small police station and added in a bigger one. Then I noticed the traffic was backing up pretty badly along this main road here, so I just went through and double checked how the road was all set up. So I made sure that it was the priority road, and I added so that they could just keep going through that corner that was back a little bit. And I noticed they were stopping for pedestrians to cross the road, so I turned off the pedestrian crossings. But if pedestrians are using it a lot, I thought that it might be good to add in, you'll see it later, a pedestrian bridge in that area. So I just thought I'd monitor the traffic here for a little bit, see how it went, see if that helped at all, and it didn't. So to lighten the load on that one road, I added a couple of connections there between the high density and low density areas, so all of the traffic didn't need to come through one area, and just fulfilling the needs, the greedy needs of some people living in the city there. They need water or something. Who really needs water these days? Am I right? That's obviously a joke. Please, God. Oh boy. So yeah, that was just checking the traffic again to make sure that people were actually getting through. I had forgotten that I hadn't upgraded the roads in the industry area from dirt from when we first built the city, so I updated those really quickly. I just added a little slip road there as well to take some of the pressure off the main roads going through the city, so if people in the industry needed to export things, they could just slip on out without adding to this main intersection here and up to that roundabout. And I noticed that traffic was getting a little bit stuck there, so I just tried to fix it really fast. I'm not sure if I do this here. I might do, yeah. I was just sort of looking at ways that I could fix the traffic in this area, and I'm pretty happy with the solution I came up with. It's a bit it's a bit different, I feel, but I think it's really interesting to look at. So I ended up deleting all of the roads that I had there and just sort of creating a little offshoot, I guess. And so I pull back out the roundabout builder, and I end up building a little oval about here. So to make sure that the circles didn't become deformed, you sort of have to brace those roads there quickly with just some roads going through it. And this took a little bit of what's the word? Persuasion, I want to say, to get these to work, to get it to connect the way I wanted to. And then I realized if I removed some of the roads there, I would actually get the shape that I wanted. So wish I had figured that out sooner instead of sitting there for for a couple of minutes. So I was just straightening that out a little bit, adding that connection there. I think I would like to fiddle with this oval about again later on, just because I feel like some of these connections, like, they're quite awkward just coming in at a 90-degree angle. Like, the cars really have to slow down to get onto the roundabout. I don't know, it just, the way that the traffic was responding to it kind of threw me off. But yeah, I thought it'd be nice to add in the city archway there, which is like you're entering the city. I always like that. We finished our first academic year. Look, honestly, the spoilers for the rest of the episode. The university doesn't do so well. Like I don't think it leveled up at all while I was playing through, but I'm still okay with that. It's just a matter of getting it set up, making sure that some of our students, at least the ones that are eligible for university, can actually go to a university. I feel like you get more value out of having those big university campuses rather than just like the university buildings. They're more fun. And there's already a bunch of tourists coming in to have a look at that city arch. It's like, what are they doing there? Get off the road. But yeah, and then I sort of noticed how ugly this park is. It's just been so empty. So I wanted to try to make it look a little bit nicer. So of course, adding in the magic touch of trees. That is the using the prop line tool is so good. It just makes these beautiful edges to all of your trees, and then I just filled it out with some more. It feels very much like a band-aid fix. Again, I could definitely do better to make the park look nicer, but it looks nicer than just being a big empty patch of grass. I think just adding those trees in there. So I did the same to both sides there. Oh, there's a dirt road there. Did I go back and fix that? I definitely noticed it while I was putting in the trees, but I don't know if I ever fixed it or not. I might have to check that out next time I boot it up. And then just to make this oval about a little more interesting, I added some rocks to the middle. I just wanted to add a little bit of intrigue to it, but not too much to add one of those big tall rock formations. Just enough to be like, oh, what's that over there? Huh? What's that part of the city? I don't know. It looks a little bit nicer, in my opinion. I wanted to add sort of like a perimeter of some bushes to it as well. Again, just to make it look like clean, make it look intentional. I thought about fences as well, but I was having some issues with the anarchy and the prop anarchy. I actually paused to go and find out what the button was for my prop anarchy, but I still couldn't get the bushes to work. I thought that prop anarchy would have just allowed me to do it anyway, but apparently not. So I just gave up and left it as rocks. So what did I do now? Oh, I was trying to see if there was any buildings I could add just to bump up the campus attractiveness, to bring in more students. You also need to get some, what are they called? The sort of like really good pieces of work from your university in order for it to level up. So I just added in some funding for that so that we could get some academic works, that's it. And then just expanding in here a little because I saw that we had a little bit of a need for some residential. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna need a drink of water if I keep talking at this pace. Do you guys like this style of video? I'm kind of having fun with this. I feel like I'm on my toes, and I don't know, it felt nice to play the game without, I guess, taking the time to think, am I doing the right thing here, and instead just doing it. Like, I know that this is probably one of the worst looking cities I've ever created, but like, I feel like I'm just getting caught up in what I'm doing. I think I would have preferred to be on a map with a little more intrigue to the landscaping, because it's all just becoming very gritty. Like, I don't really have any points of interest to follow and build around. It's just flat. So hopefully I can make some nice areas in the future for this instead of just doing all of these grids. I feel like I just need to, maybe I'll look into some other builds and just sort of see if there's any interesting patterns I could use to add some visual intrigue. So again, we weren't getting as many students as I'd like, so I just added on those policies there for I think it's free lunch and healthcare, just so we can try to get some more students coming into the trade school. Also, if you just excuse me for a second, I'm just going to have a quick glass of water. Okay, so I noticed up the top there was a rail connection, which is so important because I couldn't see any. So I bought some extra tiles so I'd have some more space to to actually put in a cargo train station. So I can actually start to export some of the goods that I've been producing from the farmland. So I always find that it works best to have one-way roads going in and out from the cargo stations, just because traffic can build up on them so easily if they're crisscrossing all over each other. So I just sort of made a little, what's the word? I don't know, sort of just like a little circuit there for the cars to go through. Trying to make them sort of nice, smooth, what's the word? Nice smooth turns so they don't have to slow down too much, so they can get in and out from the cargo station very easily to drop off their goods. Now I just needed to connect it to the outside connections, so I just did a big loop there because we've got all the space in the world, and I might regret that later on, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I thought about connecting it sort of further up there, but I just decided to follow it all the way down because eventually I'll have to add in a passenger train as well, so having that space and allowing myself that space I think will be really, really beneficial down the line. So what was I doing now? Oh yeah, I was looking to expand because I was like, oh, the reason why I did it this way was I wanted to expand really far. But I just ended up sort of refining areas more than anything. But that's also important in building a city. I feel like a lot of people do really try to expand really fast in city skylines, and you can end up bankrupting yourself pretty easily. So it is really important to take time to it's really important to take time to, what's the word, to refine your city and make sure that it's all coming up the way that you want it to. Also, I'm sorry, you might hear some some commotion from the puppies. So just to qualm a little bit of the industry need there as well, I took out some of the commercial buildings and added in a little office park, I guess, and filled it in with some pavement. So my intention there was to beautify it a bit again, but I forgot. And then I realized that we were at about 4 stars with our park. So to get up to 5 stars, I think I just needed some, just like a little bit more entertainment. And I noticed that you can sort of get these like piers and this waterside restaurant. So I thought, hey, why not use this big empty space here to add in a lake, which I kind of like how it looks. I think I would, again, like to go back and beautify it a little. Anyone who's used the water tool has made this exact mistake. I double clicked before it was ready, so I flooded my city a little bit. And then it destroyed a couple of my buildings. So instead of going through and replacing them all manually like that restroom, I thought it might save me a bit of pain to actually set up one of the disaster response units, which I'll do in a sec. I also didn't like how shallow the lake was, so I just made it a little bit deeper. All of that water made me so anxious. It was all just flowing around because I was still messing with the terrain. And it was a very sort of steady slope there as well, so I wanted to make it a little bit deeper, but I was afraid to touch the terrain anymore. And yeah, it destroyed it. That wave of water destroyed one of my metro stations. So that was when I was like, I don't want to replace that manually because I'd have to redo the lines and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll put in the disaster response unit and hopefully that'll just fix it for me. Which you'll see in a second, didn't work out so well for me. So I got to replace all those other buildings that were destroyed. And it's probably good to have a disaster response unit. I do have the disaster mod disabled at the moment, the disaster expansion, just because I don't like to play like that. But for when I make mistakes, I feel like a disaster response unit might be warranted. So this is the nightmare I had with the metro. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even comprehend what happened. So I tried to reconnect the lines and it just wouldn't work. So I was like, all right, let's it's probably an issue with the metro station. So I deleted it and reconnected it and it was all working. And then between these two, it just wouldn't connect. So what I discovered was it was actually it's this one mod and I have issues with it. I don't know if you can see it, but the metro lines are at different heights underground. So one was like 3 meters above the other, and it happened to the next piece after I deleted it. So I'm pretty sure it's this mod on the lower left here, but I've been struggling with it so much, and I accidentally connected it to a road, so I had to go through and delete this whole, like, all of this line that I'd accidentally created, and it was so frustrating. Like, it just kept getting stuck on these parks and buildings and roads that I'd have to accidentally delete and then put back, and oh my goodness, I don't know what mod that is. It might be the Fine Road Tools, which usually are very, very good. I only just figured out during this recording session that I can change it so that it doesn't modify the way that these roads are placed, but it always automatically goes right back to using one of the other modes, and it's really, really frustrating. So I just need to be aware of it every time that I'm putting down roads and metro lines and everything, that it's not doing that again. So again, I'm just deleting all the lines so I can finally put them all back in properly without any breaks or anything. So this is a really, really frustrating, 15-20 minutes of my life trying to figure out what was happening, why it was all going so wrong. Oh, but after that was done, I had to go through and make sure that those things that I deleted were all put back in their right place and that everything was properly connected again. So again, just checking on the school to make sure that I'm not sinking too much money into it and that I'm definitely not losing money from it, because I mean, that'd be pretty tragic, honestly. So I noticed that we could add an aquatic center, and I just thought this would be the best spot for it, down here right along the water, like a beautiful big aquatic center, which should also get some more students back into the school. This is another area where I had issues with this mod. It kept trying to create like a bridge even though the ground was flat. It's like, I didn't set it to that setting. I don't know why it was set to that setting. So it took me ages to figure out which button I had to press. There we go. Just to make sure that it stopped making those little bridges. It was so frustrating. So I popped down the aquatic center here, which is, oh my god, they're such big buildings, but they look so good. Especially, yeah, right there next to the water. I feel like that's just the perfect place for an aquatic center. Like, how awesome would that be? So I just connected it with a path back up to the trade school there, so students can walk right over after they finish their classes, maybe get some laps in, who knows. So there's that pedestrian bridge that I ended up adding in. It's a little bit wonky, but I do fix that up later. And immediately I saw all of these cars coming to the aquatic center, so I was like, oh my goodness, I need to add a parking lot here. So I mess around a little bit with a couple of different road types just to see which ones would fit the area best. So I had to use a small one, and then I wanted to make it sort of curve around, but I couldn't get it to work the way I wanted it to, so I just ended up doing sort of 3 little areas like that, moved it along a bit, and just sort of made it fill out the area a little bit better there. So yeah, I really like how this parking lot ended up looking. I do make it look a little bit better as the video goes on, but I thought it was a great little area for people to park if they're coming to watch an event at the aquatic center, or maybe they're coming in to get some practice or anything like that. So yeah, just adding in parking spots, disabled spots, and electric wait, no, I don't think I did any electric charging spots. Oh no, I've gone off script. Crazy. But yeah, so that's sort of the basic setup of the parking lots there. I removed those electric lines, realizing I didn't need them to connect across there anymore, because that's what killed my city when I totally bankrupted it and lost all of my citizens. So to make sure everyone was using the parking lot, I just disabled parking on the streets there, added some paths for people to walk across to the center, and just made it look a little bit nicer. Again, it's it's a momentous event. What's the word I'm trying to say? Look, it's a cool building. let's say it like that. It's a cool building. It deserves a cool parking lot. So yeah, just adding in some nice trees. Some of the pink ones, they're so pretty. I want to say that they look like cherry blossoms, but I don't know if they're meant to be that or not. I imagine if I actually looked at the item description, I could probably find that out. So yeah, just continuing to make it look a little bit nicer. Just really make it look like this is something that the city has invested money into, you know? Our swimming program. The citizens of Metropolis are excellent swimmers. So yeah, just making the parking lot look a little bit prettier with some trees, and I thought it'd be cool to have like a big rock around the side. Listen, City Skylines players were a little bit left wanting for some decorative items. We have trees and we have rocks. It's not quite like The Sims. I feel like it's also probably worth noting, I didn't have audio recorded for this entire session. I thought I did, but I've been playing with my audio setup recently on my computer, so I don't have any in-game sound for this, so I'm probably just gonna have to put over some music. So we'll get a couple of different songs together, almost like a little playlist of music to go under this. But yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much all I did for this episode. Those are sort of the big things, especially like the big university, making the park look a lot nicer, making the oval about there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, this is the last thing I do. I remember to go back and add the Watertop restaurant there and just connected that with a park. So that was this episode. I'm sorry I missed out on recording audio for it. But you know, it is what it is, and I hope you guys like this format of video. I think it was a little bit different. It felt like I got a lot more done in this episode than I would in one of my usual episodes, but I hope you guys liked it. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really like to know if you guys have any ideas for the names of the school or the aquatic center or anything, even any of the suburbs. Please let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, morning, night, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Have a wonderful time. I will see you guys next time. Toodaloo.